Wow, it has been a week for us envoys of Azuria. I think we all knew things would be bumpy, but it was a really shocking 2 days there. First off, if you missed it, the thing that everyone had been talking about, the Wednesday LP store change. A large amount of items that free-to-play players need access to be competitive were removed. This was an extensive library of costumes, eidolons, upper-level fortifications, and the weekly RC. As of Friday morning, all of the removed items were reinstated from the LP store. X-Legend has advised that this was an error with the update, and that if there will be major changes to the LP store going forwards, they will let us know in advance. If you're experienced in the game, check the timestamps to skip, but if you're newer to the game, here's the crash course. Loyalty points are an in-game farmable currency that can be used in the second tab of the item hall. Before level 100, you can farm it quite effectively by hunting the world bosses that spawn every 4 hours in Vulture's Vale and Blizzard Berg, and there's a dedicated team of players who track them to help you get all of them every time. Huge shout out to the Goat Leads. After level 100, when you've passed Awakening, Vault of Eternity is a bigger source of LP, but you can only do it once per day on each awakened character you have. Parties need 3 people minimum to break the shield on the first boss, so you will often see players recruiting anyone for it. LP can be spent on all sorts of cosmetics, gear forts, consumables, dyes, shuffles, etc. Basically, as long as you're able to farm LP, you should have a pathway to the items that are hard to farm or unavailable as drops in the game. Back to last week. This is the first major clash between the players and the new management, and personally I do think that 48-hour action was pretty good, all things considered. Keeping in mind time zones, the changes would have been implemented on Wednesday around the end of the day for X-Legend. Thursday would have been the day for receiving that feedback and reviewing on their side, finding out what went wrong, and then the fix was implemented on Friday. One thing that could have some improvement here is the communication. It was non-existent. If we had woken up on Thursday morning to an FYI, we're aware, it's a bug, we're working on it, the community would have been a lot less upset and fatalistic about it. I think this is going to be somewhat of a trend as the GameGo era players were very used to the CMs directly employed by GameGo being active in the Discord chat, and that's just not how X-Legend is running their Discord. The moderation team, including the S-mods and the GSs, they don't have the same direct line with the internal staff as before. Can confirm, I am a GS. It's 100% clear that player concerns were not ignored, but for those 2 days, it sure felt like they were. Now, onto the Paragon. We got back our weekly free-to-play RC, so now it's time to take a look at the first X-Legend Paragon. At first glance, underwhelming. I think the primary concern for players is that the dummy prizes are much less useful than before, which will probably cause the prices on single-use items that were primarily sourced from Para before to go up and make it harder to generate profit from RC. However, I would like to posit one positive, and that's that the new costumes they put on there are brand new. In the GameGo era, the trend costumes that give you buffs were 100% restricted to the cash shop in randomized packs, so I think there's an argument to be made that this should actually increase their availability for free-to-play players. The fusion formulas for green to orange are also in the LP store, and I hate to be all anecdotal about it, your mileage will vary, but I used 2 weeks of my free RC, 5,000 on it, and I managed to get 2 orange costumes and 2 green. And as a cute costume fan, again, and this is just anecdotal, not everyone's gonna get this, that wasn't bad. Just balance that with the fact that I didn't get anything valuable on the other 4.7 thousand RC that I used. Opinions and rates will vary, and at present we don't know how long each Paragon will be. And I think that will be really key to how I personally feel about the Paragon, especially if they're going to change the trend buffs with each Paragon. Another issue is the cash shop. Personally, as I'm free to play, I can't confirm everything that has changed. But previously, a large selection of eidolons were available for direct purchase, and that has been removed. There are several key eidolons that are basically best in slot for a large number of situations that are, as a result, next to impossible to get right now. They don't spawn in-game, and they aren't in the LP store. In the Discord statement, they said they hope to focus on key items and update more regularly, but I hope to see specifically eidolons back in there ASAP. Otohime and Persephone are game changers for most players, and the fact that the only way to get them right now is vouchers is a huge issue in my opinion. As for bugs, the German and French servers have been reporting issues with brand new accounts not working, and the deleting characters is still not working, but for the most part I think the bugs that I mentioned in the last video have been sorted out, so we can see that they are putting consistent effort into getting some things sorted out. Otherwise, the returnee titles have been sent out and another special present has been lined up. One free Eidolon key voucher, which can be exchanged in the encyclopedia for anyone who logs in this month. Though endgame players will likely already have all of the Eidolons in the voucher list, there's some good choices on the list for earlier and mid-game players. If there are no changes to available Eidolons implemented, I would strongly recommend picking Verdandi if you don't have her. As for me, I was working on a video with Eidolon advice for new players that was intended to be released this weekend, but I did put that on hold with the store situation being what it is. If all goes as planned, I should have it done next week. And I also just want to say I really appreciate everyone that was voicing their concerns without lashing out at other players in the Discord. Your concerns are valid, but as I've said a few times now, we're all on team, we want to play good games. As for the rapscallions that got heated, well, take a break sometimes, okay? That's all for today.